In this video, I'm going to teach you how to do a mullet, but a soft mullet, all done with scissors. Let's get started. So Mark's been letting his hair grow out for me. Well, really it's because we are in Canada and it gets cold here in Canada in the winter, so he's been letting his hair grow out for winter, but it's a little thick on the sides. So we've come to a compromise on a soft mullet. We're not doing anything too short on the sides. We're just going to keep it kind of short, kind of long, but keeping lots of length in the back on his neck. So we're going to just section off here at the top of the parietal ridge all the way around. So we're going to go right back into the crown area and all the way around. Same thing on the other side, a nice big horseshoe section. So once it's done, you're going to start taking sections vertically, starting right at the front hairline. So you'll notice my finger angle is straight up and down, and I do have to regrip it because you don't want to cut past your knuckle. And then you're going to travel with this guide that you've just created. So you're going to bring that guide to the next piece of hair, keeping it straight up and down. So we're going to take these sides pretty short, as short as we can without using clippers. So a lot of mullets, they do have clippers, but this one we are keeping it a little softer, a little longer, so we are just going to use the scissors. So you'll notice I just keep bringing the guide to the next piece of hair that I'm going to cut. And we're going to do this right until we get just behind the ear. And when we get just behind the ear, that's when things will change a little bit. So we're just going to continue to travel, and by traveling, we're going to be taking lots of hair off. So here I am just behind the ear. So this would be that last section that I want to pull straight out. So now once this section is completed, now we're going to start taking every other section to that section of hair that's right at the ear. So now this is going to become a stationary guide. So now all of the hair from behind is going to be drawn to that point. So basically what's going to happen is I'm creating over direction. So if I'm pulling hair toward that piece, I'm going to get longer and longer as I go toward the back. I am just going to take a moment. I'm just going to shape up around the hairline. Ears are round, they are not pointed, so make sure that your scissors don't just go up and down, but that they actually travel around the ear. And I'm not cutting all the way to the bottom. I'm just going to blend that out because I do want to keep that length there at the bottom. So let's start taking that hair to that guide. So you're going to notice right now a little bit of hair is coming, but as I keep pulling hair, there's going to be less and less and less for me to cut, and that's what's going to make it longer and longer as it goes towards the back. So you see there's not quite as much. And now there's hardly anything to cut there, just a little tiny bit. Okay, so that's the first side done, and we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So pulling everything straight up and down, vertical. I'm going to travel, so I'm bringing my guide to the piece of hair that I'm cutting, pulling it straight out from where it grows. And there's lots of hair coming off in this section, but that's what we want. And this is going to really clean it up and make it nice and tight around the sides. Okay, just tidy up around the hairline again, same as we did on the other side. Making sure that you're cutting along the edge of the hairline so you can tell where that density is, and you don't ever want to cut into the hairline, always keep on the outside of it. And you'll notice my scissors, I'm going around the ear, I'm not just going straight up and down. And on this side I do find it easier to come from behind and come up around. And ears are bendy, so use that to your advantage when you're cutting. If you're nervous at all, you can always ask your client to hold the ear down as well. Okay, so now that it's all checked, good on both sides. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing where I'm going to be over directing all of the hair from the back to that last piece of hair that I cut by the ear. And eventually you're just going to run out of hair, and that's kind of the whole point. That way you just end up getting longer. So as you can see, there's not very much there to cut. Always have a look at your work, whether you're looking in the mirror or you're looking all around. Take a step back, because sometimes when you're right on top of the hair, you don't always see everything. So sometimes it takes that taking a step back and having a look that you can actually see the balance of what you've created. Okay, so when you're happy with how that looks, and it was falling super nice. Now we're going to go into this top section and just make sure that it all connects. So I'm going to take a vertical section right across the entire top section of the head. I'm going to pull it straight up. You want to just determine the length that you want, and I want to keep most of that length. I don't want to take too much, so I'm only just taking a little bit. And this is going to be my guide. And then I'm going to take my next section and I'm just going to bring it up to that piece of hair. So I'm working in about 1/2 inch subsections, or about the width of your finger. So sometimes it's easier if you just look at your finger width. Sometimes that's a good gauge as well. And I'm just bringing everything up until I run out of hair, and then I'll do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just going to go through the crown, and I want to make sure that it does connect into what I've cut, because remember I did some over directing, and I just want to make sure that there's no corners. There really wasn't much there to take, but I am just double checking just to take a little bit to make sure it's nice and neat. So I'm only doing that through that back crown section. I'm not doing that into the sides. And then on the sides, what I'm going to do, I'm having a look to see, do I like how that's falling? Do I want to blend it out a little bit more? And I did decide I wanted to blend it out a little bit more. I am just holding it straight out, and I'm just going to point cut into that edge a little bit. It's going to make it so that he doesn't have a definite line or that overhang line coming over what I've cut that was shorter underneath. You don't have to do this. It's really going to depend on what the client is looking for and how you feel that it's falling. I do like to point cut this out. Mark has pretty fine hair. Taking too much there, it could be disastrous. And you just go back as far as that crown area that you just finished, and you're just going to make sure it all just blends together. Okay, so now I'm going to do the front. Whenever you're doing the front of a client, bangs, fringe, or even in this bang area here, always have the client look towards you. That way you're not leaning over, losing your balance. It's going to cause you to have better lines this way. Always have them look toward you. So then I'm going to go to the other side, and Mark is going to look towards me again. And again, point cutting for a lot of the other videos that I've done. Whenever I do fringe bangs, I love point cutting. I find it keeps everything nice and soft. And again, we wanted to keep it kind of long. It is still winter here for now. Maybe in a couple of months he'll let me take this mullet a little bit shorter. We'll see. And again, always check your work.
If you have a client that's looking for a soft version of the mullet, then this is definitely the one that you want to choose. If they're looking for something much shorter, check out this video where I do the fade. Thanks for watching and have a great hair day.